Hi there, WOLT chums. Before we get started with this episode, I wanted to share some exciting news. Earlier this year, I partnered with the team at Lose It to write a course called Change Your Thinking, Change Your Weight, a mindset-first approach to lasting weight loss. This is a premium course for Lose It, but now through the end of October, our friends at Lose It are offering this as a complimentary gift for our friends at WOLT Place. So if you were thinking about joining WOLT Place, We Only Look Thin Place, our Facebook-based accountability group for women, this is the perfect time to do so. Again, now through the end of October, new and existing members of WOLT Place will be receiving this as a complimentary gift. So head over to weonlylookthin.com, click on that link for join our support group, sign up, and you will qualify for this amazing offer. I'm so proud of the work I did on this. I want to thank the team at Lose It, Sarah and Hannah, for including me in this project. And now we will get on with the show. Thanks for listening. And welcome to another high-pressure episode of We Only Look Thin. I am Catherine Weigel. I am one of your hosts.
Yeah.
I have lost a lot of weight. I almost said 300 because I'm so focused.
Yeah.
I have not...
300 pounds. Wow.
Hi, I'm Catherine Weigel. I'm one of your hosts. I have lost over 120 pounds, kept it off for over 5 years.
Yeah.
I am a Tiny Habit certified coach, a Thrive Global certified coach.
Wow.
I am a co-host of this podcast. With me today is...
Donald Weigel, and I have lost about 100 pounds. I have kept it off for, 5 years, 6 years. I always forget. 5 years?
Sure.
I don't know why.
Let's keep the energy up.
Yes,
say yes.
Yes. And I am a co-host of this show, and I have been married to Catherine Weigel for 25 years. A little more.
Congratulations to you.
And we have made it to 300 episodes.
Oh, this is high pressure.
Podcast.
I have been putting off this episode for 299 episodes.
So here's some boring behind the scenes truth. I shouldn't have said it was boring. I think already people are like, this is the razzle.
What are they going to talk about?
We have been like thinking about this for so long. We're actually recording it the day before it comes out, which we almost never do.
Tomorrow.
We almost always record these at least a week in advance.
Yeah, but we had a couple things happen in September, and we were like, let's take a little break.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. It won't be a problem at all.
Yeah, so this comes out tomorrow. So if you're listening to this, you know it's fresh content. Fresh content.
But we are also very excited that it is the 300th episode of this podcast. Who knew?
I know. According to a statistic that I just made up, less than 0.001% of podcasts get to 300 episodes.
300. There's a lot of pressure here to keep up the quality, keep up the chuckles, make it funny, they say. We're here for the comedy.
Of course, some say there are no chuckles.
Some would say
there's never been any chuckles. Yes, we're chuckle-free.
Chuckle-free. No, but
Chuckleless.
There's a lot of pressure. We actually, I went into WOLT Place, We Only Look Thin Place, our Facebook-based accountability group for women, and said, hey, everyone, what should we talk about? It's the 300th episode. What do we do?
Yeah.
Because I have no ideas. How do we make it worth everyone's time? Exciting. How is it going to reflect the next 300 that we're going to do? How do we make it magical and perfect and special? That's pressure.
That's a lot of pressure.
So I had a couple of ideas that aren't all that funny. Like someone like me, let's say me, was
someone, we'll call her Catherine.
We'll call her me.
Yeah.
was actually like, maybe we should just do a retrospective of the other 299 episodes and just tell people what we already told them.
Yeah, I think if
name episodes.
Yeah, like we were going to go through and just like list the other 299 episodes, tell
That's
you what
lot.
each of them was about.
Yeah, but Don was like, nobody wants a recap episode.
Yeah,
like,
it was like whenever I was growing up and there was a clip show, like, oh, it's our 100th episode. We're going to show you the like, wasn't it hilarious when Monica had that turkey on her head that
out
one
of
time?
Context.
Yeah.
Does that even make sense? I know, like the 10 times that the Fonz
jump things with his
over things.
motorcycle / like water skis.
Yeah. But like, honestly, it was like, we did an episode. I'm going to say an episode that we did so that they know this. But we did, for our 100th, I think, we did 100 Ways Our Lives Are Better now.
Oh, yeah.
So that's like an episode you could go back to. Like 100, that's manageable. But do you want 300 non-scale victories?
Yeah.
We're running out of juice. Nobody wants 300s of anything.
Or we could talk about our 300 favorite like snacks that we've had.
I was going to say
over the
300
last
of our
5-6
favorite
years.
spices. We're big into spices.
300 spices, yeah.
Do we just name spices?
I just had a spice delivery come yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
I
was
really
thinking
did.
about
I
that.
ordered
Spices
spices
are really
through the
good.
mail. Yeah.
Yeah, we also like 300 tips of the week. It's just too many. Like you can't do 300.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking about writing 300 weight loss haikus. Because they're only 575.
I think you should.
300. But like,
I think you should.
You know what? Part of this maintenance thing, maintaining our podcast, maintaining our weight, is like just being sustainable.
Right.
And just being chill, because there was not much that was chill about me. Literally, like I was 300 pounds in 2003, which actually makes it the 30th. No, 20th.
20th,
See, it's only 20 years. See, there's 300 is too much.
Yeah.
20 years since I was at my highest weight. And I did a lot of bargaining with my weight at that point. We're getting to the meat and potatoes of what this episode is gonna be about. Aren't we, Donald?
Yeah.
What do we talk about if we can't talk about 300
You may not
things?
have realized this was going to happen, but I was at about 255. Well, not in 2003, but before I started along this journey, about 255 pounds. Got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and we had through the years lost and gained back like a whole bunch of weight over that time. From really even from the time I was a teenager, I had a pattern of losing a bunch of weight and then gaining it all back.
Yeah, and when I was at my highest at 300, it was right at my college graduation, for which I also went into serious debt to go to college.
Yeah.
Also went into caloric debt, getting up to 300 pounds. I was eating much more than I was moving, and I didn't really think I had a problem. I thought life wasn't fair and life is busy. And when you live on credit, you just think, oh, well, I'll deal with that down the line. It's not a really big deal. But we lived in caloric debt and in financial debt, and we just sort of would lose weight over and over again, trying to outrun the debt. And then once we were out of debt, we would just, we're out of debt. We can use it again.
Yeah, we would use, we would get to a particular weight and then feel like we were fixed and cured and use it as an excuse to overeat again, or just figure, well, now we're thin people. We can eat whatever we want and we'll be fine.
Well, and for me, it was sort of like my pants were the credit card, and there was a spending range that, like, I know I can. No, I'm serious. I'm like, if
I just feel like that's really funny. Your pants are the credit card.
No, but they were like, I would be like, okay, I've got a pair of pants. I know that I have an 8 to 10 pound range in which they will still button.
Yeah.
So when I get to the higher end of them being super tight, that was like the top of my budget. I would say, okay, I'm going to diet down to the lower range so that I can then glide back up and gain weight again and then eat like I want to eat, which is basically until my pants burst.
Right.
And when I went on this last time journey venture and got to the bursting point, I literally thought my pants were going to rip. I realized I needed to buy a larger size pair of pants. And that's how like that, oh, there's a new credit card with a new credit limit on it. Like I'll just go to the larger size. And then I would hit the top of that credit limit. And we saw it really as this like gamifying, how far can I go with the clothes that I have and with the credit that I have to just sort of play the system. And it took until my 40s to realize that this is not a game.
Well, and I played the system until the bill collector came due in the form of giving me a diabetes diagnosis. And
oh, no, that was the interest that was paid?
Yeah, that was suddenly that, things became very, very real. I wasn't just trying to lose weight to look better in a T-shirt or something. And it became a real matter of me getting it under control to really help my health, so that I'm not living with, being in your late 40s isn't particularly young, but it's also a long time to live with complications from diabetes if you're planning to live a long life.
Well, and I think that in our 20s and 30s, you get your first, well, gosh, I got my first credit card when I was 20, and I was like, oh, I'll be responsible with it.
Oh, my goodness.
Like, this is great. So I'll just use it in emergencies. And then suddenly, just like with, there are 365 surprises or days a year, suddenly all of the small spending adds up to big debt and big weight gain.
Yeah, I bought a TV and a stereo system, and like it was like the classic, like you give a kid who's not ready for it a credit card and they just go nuts.
Yeah, like just saying, oh, I'll be responsible is not actually a plan.
Yeah, and very similarly, that's what I would do with food too. I would get to a point where I thought I could eat whatever I wanted again, and I would just do that. I would just eat till I was absolutely stuffed all the time.
Yeah, so you can just go back and listen to the other amazing 299 episodes of We Only Look Thin to follow our full journey venture. But we thought that number 300 would be a great time for us to go back to sort of a basic, one that we wish we had. So when we started this last time journey venture in 2016, both of us sort of came from it from a place of, I'm not exactly sure what to do, but I'll just try this and see how it goes. And Donald and I did different things. And when we started sort of inspiring others,
that's right,
we had many ideas of ways to approach it and what to focus on. But ultimately, in the end, you are going to receive today, everyone. You're wondering, what will I receive on this 300th episode? You are going to receive what we would tell people now, which is what we're going to tell you now, which is...
Yeah, we're going to talk about learning to create and manage a calorie budget.
What?
And, just like...
That was a lot. I came at that with a lot of energy, but I like trying to sound...
I know, you look really spent.
I was trying to be your hype man.
You look really spent now. Part of, just like you learn to get your financial debt and your financial situation under control, and working with a budget is crucial to that. It is the same thing with your weight and your health, working with a calorie budget. And people say to us all the time, and I see people post all the time on Reddit, and will say things like, just flat out ask, like, how much should I eat? Like, how many calories should I eat? Or they figure, well, I'm going on a diet. I've heard 1,200 calories is a number that people try to hit, so I'm just going to do that, And they're like, well, I've heard that you're supposed to eat 2,000 calories a day to be healthy. Like, I'm going to drop it to 1,000 or, half that or whatever, because I want to lose the weight quickly. And so we would like to talk about the actual, healthy and, in our opinion, right way to make, to do this and figure it out.
Yeah. So today I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. Just like on an essay, you're supposed to tell them what you told them. So as we are no longer randos on the internet, but actual people with a podcast, we are going to help you empower yourself to figure out the right calorie range for you, how to keep foods that you really like in your daily budget. We are going to show you how to budget your calories throughout the day, make your calories go farther than they normally would, and how to change and pivot if things don't go as planned. So we're about to do it. I'm very excited.
I'm choosing to celebrate that we are no longer randos on the internet.
I know.
I didn't know that. I thought we still were.
No, when I type in rando on the internet, we do not come up.
We are.
You don't, and also don't type rando on the internet because
don't search.
We're
for that.
all randos on the internet.
Yeah, randos. You search randos on the internet and our names, and you get no search results. Like that's really. I like that. This we finally moved into it.
Okay, so we're gonna do it, people. So the question from the world is, hey, I need help with calories. What do I eat? What do I do?
Yeah.
So where do you go first, Donald?
Well, okay. So step one is to know your calorie range, and way back when we did this, what we actually did was, or what we did two different things. What I did was I just tracked my calories without changing anything about what I was eating at the beginning and figured out where I was. I was eating like 4,000 calories a day, which sounds kind of unbelievable at this point. And then I just dropped it back to, I think, 3,500. And then I went to 3,000, as I would plateau.
But you make a great point, because I think in this, a lot of times when we're spending on credit, we don't really know what we're spending, and it doesn't feel like that much. Like, I don't eat as much as that person, or that guy eats a big bag of potato chips and he's not gaining, so I should be okay. But actually, any budget is first about just establishing what it is you're spending on and how much it costs. And the same goes for calories.
Yeah, and I would almost suggest that you track yourself for a few days or a week and figure out where you really are, because you might be eating a lot more than you think you are.
Yeah, I think that is the big thing for me, is just not realizing how much I was actually spending.
And so I just sort of kept stepping my calories back, and anytime I would hit a plateau, I would step them back a little more. And that's how I figured it out. And you did something different at the beginning.
Yeah, I just went to a deficit to start. I didn't really know what to do.
And that was based on what the Fitbit app was telling you, right?
Right. So yeah, I put on my Fitbit, I put in my age and how much I wanted to lose per week, and it gave me a budget. And I think starting at a deficit is actually not a great idea, especially if you have a history of going into extreme deficit in the past. So what we would actually suggest to you is, instead of going to an immediate deficit, is just figure out how many calories it takes to maintain your weight.
Yeah, and there's a website that we really like called freedieting.com, and it's not, I don't like necessarily the whole website, but their calorie calculator is maybe the best one that I've found
For
online.
Sure.
And you put in your age, your gender, your current weight, your height, and then your exercise level. And the exercise level is a little bit suggestive, so you might have to subjective. So you might have to play with that a little bit.
I did little to no exercise to start, just to kind of, because that's really when I was at my higher weight, I got so little. And I would say after all this time, it's pretty accurate within a couple of hundred calories.
Yeah, and it will spit out what it says your maintenance calories are, your calories for fat loss, and then your calories for extreme fat loss, which I don't like. Ignore the extreme fat loss one. And so for me, I put in my stats, and it gave me 2182 calories for maintenance and 1745 for fat loss a day. And that is really pretty accurate in terms of what I do when I'm trying to lose a little weight or when I'm just trying to stay the same.
Well, and when I actually put my initial stats from when I started this journey venture at 250 pounds back in 2016, my age was 41, my weight was about 250. My height within a margin was 5'7", and then my activity I put very low, and it had me at about 2,200 calories to maintain, and then for weight loss it had me at about 2,000, maybe just in the 1,900 range.
Yeah.
So that seemed like, looking at that was like, no, I've got to eat, like the internet tells me 1,200 calories is where I need to be. But honestly, at the size that I was and the low activity level that I was, years of thinking I had to go into some extreme deficit was just not true. And getting to a point, if you're eating 3,000, 4,000 calories a day and not even knowing it, think of the extreme that we go to, and think of all the times that we failed because we thought we had to go to some punishment level of deficit.
Yeah.
Maintaining and learning to maintain is an actual gift. And we think starting with getting to that maintenance point is a huge victory. And it doesn't feel like enough effort when you're trying to lose weight initially. It feels like, but I should be doing more.
Right.
But there are so many benefits to maintaining, and I will list them thusly. No, but really, like, we always feel, and even for people who are seasoned, calorie trackers, maintenance days are always a victory. It is always, when you break even,
for sure.
When you have money to spend and you spend exactly that much and there's no debt and there's no, credit card debt, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's a victory. And I think that I think this is an important part of the, mindset part of this, as well as the practical part of this, is that everybody want the weight to come off quickly and fast. And it is much harder to sustain that over the long term than you probably realize. And I understand the urge to want it to be, in air quotes, over quickly.
Yeah.
But learning to eat at maintenance and learning to lose weight slowly, it really is one of the keys to keeping it off forever. And, trying to go immediately to a drastic deficit, you might be able to do that for a little while, but really just practicing, even if you're eating above your maintenance calories, if it's less than what you've been doing, then it is good practice to keep going and to really sort of get used to, this new way of life.
Yeah, especially if you've been gaining, maintaining is a huge win. If you're going on vacation, maintaining is a huge win. If your day doesn't go as planned, maintaining your calories is a great win. And when you have days where you have low emotional bandwidth, extra activities after work, weekend things, a work thing, it takes much less emotional effort to say maintenance is a win than it is to grit your teeth and just try to slog through and pretend that you're going to eat at a deficit every day. It's not going to happen. Maintenance is a win, and eating at maintenance is always available to you. Even now, as we are in maintenance, we eat at a deficit a lot of the time.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, you're trying to lose weight or you're indulging. The maintenance is a real option. And I think that it's something people don't think about that much.
Well, and I don't think in Weight Watchers, for all of the times that I did it, that they ever said hey, you know what? You could maintain your weight if you ate 15 more points a day. And that's a win. We go in.
And they don't really train you to maintain when you do hit your goal weight. I don't feel like most plans really do that.
Yeah. So maintaining is less emotional effort. It is a neutral day, and a neutral day is a win. It can stabilize you when you feel like you've gone overboard, and every penny matters. Maintaining, not being in debt, that is a win. So we would say maintaining is the place to start.
All right. So what is the second step in creating your calorie goal, dear?
Okay. So usually when we set a calorie target, it's just sort of this non-negotiable, we're just going to hit it, and I've got to just compromise everything. But our first step to you, once you've hit the sort of how do I actually decide now that I know?
Yeah, once you know your calorie range, figure out what you're going to try to hit every day.
Right. So say you go, okay, great. I've got 2,000 calories to spend today. Deciding how to spend them is key. And the first step is to decide what your non-negotiables are. Yes, that's right, dear listener. You can decide how to spend your calories and what you particularly want to prioritize. This is non-prescriptive. It's about you deciding what's right for you. So for me, my non-negotiable is half and half in my coffee.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go for the diet version. I'm not going to learn how to live without it. I want half and half. So right off the top of my 2,000 calories, I have 100 calories for my half and half. And also, I want dessert every day. It's not like every day ending in Y deserves dessert for me. And so I budget 300 calories for that.
Yeah, and when dessert is also it's a little bit subjective as to what my dessert is. Sometimes my dessert is chips, but there's always some sort of a treat, and that's mostly a non-negotiable for me as well these days. When I started, I oftentimes didn't allow myself, in air quotes, any kind of treats because I was afraid of, going off the rails. But I make some sort of treat at the end of the day part of my calories every day.
Right, and that's a priority. And the same goes for actual spending money. We can do one of those like extreme, okay, that's it, I'm never going out. I'm not going to have electricity. I'm not going to I'm going to bust it and then get it over with. It's like, no, I really like having cable, so I'm going to prioritize that. The same is true with deciding for yourself what things you just want to keep in your life.
Yeah, and look, the size of that treat can vary. Like some days I leave myself enough calories to have 100-calorie treat, and sometimes it's 250 calories, treat. And, I can adjust throughout the day depending on what kind of dessert that I want. But I do have one policy I would like to bring up, that I eat fruit every day, and I don't skip my fruit in order to fit in more dessert. I've made that policy for myself.
That's good.
I won't if the only reason, the way I can eat more dessert or eat a dessert is to skip my fruit, I won't do that.
Oh, that's really good. That's like a keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Like you got, that's really good. I hadn't even thought about that. Nice job.
Thank you.
Well, and two, and looking at your entire week, oh gosh, I really love having a beer after work on Friday.
Right.
So I'm going to prioritize that on Friday. So looking at your actual life week by week and deciding what is important matters. So what is the next one, Donald?
Then once you've figured out what your non-negotiables are, figure out how many calories you have left after your non-negotiables. So let's just make the math easy. You're trying to hit 2,000 calories in a day, and your non-negotiables are 200 calories, then you end up with 1,800 left. Or your non-negotiables are 300 calories, you have 1,700 left. Whatever it is, you understand how math works, probably.
But for me, it was, if my budget is 2,000 calories a day, I want a 300-calorie dessert, I want my coffee, and let's say 100-calorie, I want a piece of cheese for 100 calories. Let's say I have 500 calories in non-negotiables. That leaves me with 3 meals a day, 1,500 calories. I can divide that. Oh, I've got 500 for breakfast, 500 for lunch, 500 for dinner.
Yeah.
Then it's just figuring out how I want to lay that out. Or again, you could just do, I want a 750 calorie lunch.
So you're revealing step 4.
Oh no.
Already. Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
I'll go back.
So step 4 is decide how you're going to divide up those calories. And as Catherine mentioned, you could do what she was just talking about. You've got 500 calories to divide amongst 3 meals, or, maybe you have one big meal. Maybe you have a few small meals.
Yeah.
For me, I eat, something like 250 to 300 calories at lunch, and then I have a small snack each hour until dinner, and that snack is usually 100 to 150 calories, and that's how I divide it up. And then I eat the rest of my calories at dinner.
Well, and I think
whatever I have left.
I think the big part of this, of customizing it to yourself, is what feels right to you. There are people who love breakfast. Donald can skip it. There are people who love big meals and feeling really full, and there are other people who like to nibble throughout the day. And so finding the right combination for you matters. There are lots of websites. If you look up, just Google it, or what's the other, Ping It or Bing It, or
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves it. Like,
I don't think that exists
how
anymore.
to distribute my calories. There are tons of awesome charts online of just almost like Lego blocks. How are you going to fit all the Lego blocks together?
Right.
I've got a budget of 1,800 calories. Do I want to backload them so that I have more at night, or more in the morning, more in the middle of the day? customize it, figure out what's right for you based on your actual day.
And you'll probably have to play around with this in order to figure out what really works for you. Like when I started, I was eating breakfast every day and figuring that was the way to go. And now
most important meal of the day.
I know. Now I usually don't eat breakfast because I've discovered that I'm not nearly as hungry in the morning for some reason.
Magic.
And so I don't really get like super hungry till after lunchtime. So I start with lunch, and then I find that if I eat something regularly, which I typically do once an hour, I eat a little treat, it keeps me from getting like super ravenous throughout the day.
Yeah, and I would rather have bigger meals and then a couple of small snacks. So we do things differently, but we end the day, again, I like saving my sweets or my indulgences for the evening. So that's one of my policies, is just not to start with super delicious, extra palatable food then.
Yeah, so that was step 4. So step 5 is look at your day and figure out where you can
pump up the volume.
So oh boy, 300 episodes in and we still can't pump up the volume right.
1, 2, 3.
Pump up the volume.
I don't know if I have the octave right on that. I've got to work on it. But no,
we're not harmonizing.
So if you have 1,500 calories a day, how can you make the most out of that? How can you, if you're like, I want to still have pizza with dinner with the family.
Yeah.
How can I prioritize the pizza, but how can I also pump up the volume to make those calories last longer? So that's where our friends vegetables and fruit come in.
Yeah, you fit in, figure out where you can eat those super low calorie foods, assuming that you like them. Cucumbers, mushrooms, onions, add pickles to things.
I add salsa to things.
Yeah, salsa to
neutral
things.
Tasting cauliflower to substitute. Not all the mac and cheese, but maybe add it to your pump up the volume mac and cheese so that you have the taste of the mac and cheese with more volume to make you more satisfied.
Yeah, and I recently, I did an experiment where I bought these they're heat and eat meals in a pouch.
Yeah.
And I bought 3 of them that looked good to me. And, they were around 300 calories for the pouch, but then I would add cauliflower, mushrooms, onions, roasted red peppers, like things that were like super low calorie, to really make them feel like much bigger meals. And it worked out pretty well. And so it's like a nice sort of shelf stable thing that I could keep in like a desk drawer at work to have if I find myself in a situation where I need a meal unexpectedly.
Well, and a lot of times when even the word diet comes up, we just picture this sad, like, I'll have 2 broccoli florets and 1 piece of dry chicken and whatever. And so this isn't about going through the motions each day and eating as little food as possible to make yourself feel like you're paying a penalty for your past indulgences. This is like the excitement of like, oh my gosh, I had the most amazing lunch. Like I had a salad that was like, 3 cups of lettuce with a little bit of barbecue sauce and chicken on top. And I added onions and mushrooms and whatever. And it was so good. And it was only 400 calories in the end. Like, doesn't that feel better of like, haha, I'm playing the system and making it actually something delicious and filling instead of like 1 green bean and a pat of butter. Like, that's sad.
And actually feeling satisfied with your meals, is huge in really, continuing to do this over the long term.
Yeah. And for me too, like looking at my calories as a whole weekly budget instead of a daily budget helps me. So for example, if you are starting at 2,000 calories a day, doesn't it sound amazing when you say you have 14,000 calories for the whole week?
Right.
Now, if you blow them all in one day, that's not what we're saying to do. But instead of looking at...
I'm going to eat 14,000 calories on Monday.
Yeah, one on, 6 off.
Starve for the next 6 days.
That's like extreme intermittent fasting.
No, thank you.
But like looking at it as I have 14,000 calories for the week. Look at the weekend ahead. Oh, we're going to a birthday party and a football game. I want to prioritize. Usually on a normal week when nothing is happening, maybe I would have those 2,000 calories every day and it would be fine. But on a special occasion when you're saying, okay, well, we're going to a game and a birthday party, you know what? I'm going to prioritize having higher calorie weekends. So maybe I'm having 3,000 calories a day, Saturday and Sunday. And then I'll budget back and have lower calorie weekdays.
Maybe you're doing like 16 or 1,700 calories instead of your 2,000.
Yeah. And just saying, you know what? Typically, I would love having that treat every single night. But this week, I'm going to save up those calories and I'm going to put it toward my weekend. We don't have to have all the same. That is actually one thing on the freedieting.com tracker. There are things called like zigzag calories, which is you decide how many calories you're going to have a day, and it's going to fluctuate. I'm going to prioritize my book club on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You know what? That's going to be a higher calorie day because I'm meeting up with my friends, and then I'll lower the calories on other days. It's not like you have to be perfect every day. And guess what? Like we said, going back to maintenance calories for a few days, that is also okay. Like just saying, you know what, this isn't a time to lose. I'm just going to stick with the higher calories. It is a win. Decide for yourself what works.
Yeah. And, for me, I typically try and be pretty consistent most days. But, like Catherine said, if I've got something particular coming up, then I make adjustments and look ahead for that. And I know we've kind of already started touching on it, but what is step 6 in this process, dear?
Well, step 6 is to pivot. So once you've figured out your maintenance calories, you've decided on what to prioritize, you've decided to pump up the volume and really kind of work the system to make your calories go the farthest and how you distribute them through the day. The next thing to do in the final part is really being able to pivot. How is what you're doing working for you?
Yeah.
Are you happy with it? Are you eating at any deficit? What would you be willing to do next? Being able to be adaptable and pivot and try something new is really important in this.
And I think this is where having patience really comes in handy because, you might try a particular calorie count for a couple of days and you get on the scale and you don't see results, it can really provoke people to want to make, even drastic changes. But we're talking about like doing experiments over weeks, not days or hours. And if you discover that eating a certain way, like suddenly you're starving at 2 p.m., then, pivot and make an adjustment for that. Change when you're eating it. If you try a particular calorie count for 2 weeks and nothing moves on the scale, then maybe make a change or add some more exercise or, something, make some sort of a change, but be prepared to really troubleshoot, figure out what's not working for you and not, the thing that I used to do was do something for a couple of weeks. I wouldn't get the results that I wanted, and then I would just give up and do nothing. And that's what you want to avoid. You want to think of this as a process. You're doing a science experiment on yourself, figuring out what is going to work best for you over the long term.
Well, and 2, being in that mindset of how can I adjust and adapt and make this work matters every single week of our lives. We often go into plans thinking that, well, I've got to show that I'm really committed. I've got to hit this deficit no matter what. I've got to be like ruthless and engaged.
Yeah.
And this isn't about punishment. This is about actually living a lifestyle that is maintainable for you. Going into debt on a credit card is not a maintainable lifestyle full of growth. It brings dread and guilt and shame and all of that stuff. Getting to a point where you're addressing your calories, knowing where they're going and how you're using them, and deciding week by week what effort you're ready to put in to managing your weight really matters and adds up. And like Donald said, I spent decades getting myself into debt.
Yeah.
But we want this rush to get it over with. We want to get the weight loss over with. We want to just get to the point. But when you look at that as I just need to get out of this so I can get back into it, that is not sustainable. And what we are promoting is figuring out what your current budget is, deciding what matters to you, what you're willing to donate to the cause of your health, and experimenting with that, like Donald said. Give maintenance calories a week or 2. See how that goes. If you're not maintaining, you're gaining, cut back a little bit. Go week by week and season by season and really ask yourself what you're ready to commit to, because this is like 300 episodes in.
Yeah.
We are a work in progress. We have new challenges. We have new setbacks.
Yeah. And I still make changes all the time to what I do.
Yeah. And this is about the evolution of the process. And just as spending money changes, spending calories change too. And the more you can be a champion of your choices and an advocate for yourself in what matters right now, we're in the season of the pumpkin, aren't we, Donald?
We certainly
so many
are.
pumpkin-shaped things.
I love it.
And candy corn-shaped things. It's going to change. I have been maintaining my weight this year, which is a victory. Like, sure, we can spin anything we want. We can spin it on up. I have been maintaining my weight this year, and I have the ability to adapt and pivot and make changes. And it is a win to me to know that I am in control of how I'm spending my calories.
Yeah.
And sometimes I overindulge, and sometimes I feel like I'm in a season where I can pull back. And that is a win. And we believe that you can take control of your choices and your habits in a way that is maintainable.
Absolutely. And I think that will wrap up our 300th and, dare I say, best episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is big. So
yeah, we have done it. And all of our episodes are still available wherever you found this one. You can listen to all of them. We have, I don't know, what does that make it? 300. The average episode's probably 40 minutes. That's at least a few hours.
That is many, many hours
of listening pleasure for you. All of our episodes are still available anytime on our website at weonlylookthin.com.
Yep. And if you are at weonlylookthin.com, you can click on that link for Join Our Support Group to find out more about WOLT Place. We Only Look Thin Place is our Facebook-based accountability group for women. Though I track calories and other people in the group do too, we also have people doing Weight Watchers, intermittent fasting, a combination of many different programs. So we welcome all plan doers, and we have 2 subscription options to see if WOLT Place is right for you. We have a monthly subscription with a 3-day complimentary trial and a 3-month subscription with a 7-day complimentary trial to see if WOLT Place is right for you. And as a special offer through the end of the month of October, our friends at Lose It are offering a complimentary copy of the Lose It course that I helped write. We are offering that at no additional charge. This is usually a premium course, but you can get it at no additional cost for joining and staying with WOLT Place. So
absolutely,
check it out.
So that is a really wonderful gift, and this is if you've been on the fence about joining, this is a great time to go ahead and join and take advantage of this offer brought to you by our friends at Lose It.
Yep, and so you get that. You get Zoom meetings with me. You get a wonderful supportive group. We've got subgroups, lots of great ways to interact in the group and be supported while you figure out what is right for you. Even if you're like, Catherine, I want more calorie talk. You will get it there in WOLT Place.
Absolutely.
So check it out.
Check it out. And you can also check us out on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at We Only Look Thin. Or you can send us an email if that's more your speed to weonlylookthin@gmail.com. We appreciate compliments. We appreciate episode suggestions. We've taken a lot of listener emails and turned them into episodes of the show. It may be, you want to know if we've done episodes about particular topics and you can't figure out which ones to look at. We're good to help out with that. Maybe you want to know, be a reminder of what kind of rebounder we use.
Yeah.
Maybe we can help you out with that as well. I actually get that question a lot.
Yeah.
And you can email us again to weonlylookthin@gmail.com.
Yep. And if you have a couple of extra minutes and you could head over to Apple Podcasts, please leave us a rating and a review. Not only does it help us know that what we're doing is making a difference, we have over 600 star reviews now.
Yeah,
so
we do.
Thank you very much. And we have new people finding us every day. And part of that is the algorithms on Apple Podcasts. So please head over there, press the 5-star, leave us a review. It would mean so much to us.
And another thing that would really mean a lot to us is if you could just tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth is probably the best way in which the show grows. And if you are in person, or if you are on a Reddit group, a Discord server, a Facebook group, and give us a shout out, it really helps the show grow when they hear, when other people hear testimonials from people that are saying that we are great. Awesome,
super-de-duper,
whatever, like superlatives.
Cool beans.
Cool beans. It really helps other people to get motivated to check us out.
Yep.
So, whether your opinion is that this episode is full of chuckles, or whether it was chuckle-free or chuckleless, just remember that Catherine and I are
an inspiration. Maybe we should say Asian 300 times. No, we shouldn't.
No, we should not.
Nope.
The information that you hear on this podcast is for informational purposes only. The hosts are not medical professionals. You should always consult with your doctor, nurse, or other certified health professional before beginning any diet or fitness program. We are recording the 300th episode of We Only Look Thin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, it's going great so far. This is a banger. We are killing it.
Okay, I'll start. Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay.